everybody, this is Lunnaris, and now I'm gonna tell you a bit about Atlas riders. So on the left side, on the bottom, there's your dragon rooster, the green bottom, and the left one above it with the head, that's your rider menu. So on the right side, there's hired and unhired riders. Now unhired, those riders you see here are past event riders which you can't get anymore. But you can get the Atlas riders if you haven't already. You need 2 red rider shards to hire each one. So let's take a look at them. This is the defensive Atlas rider. You can rename each rider, but you can't change the name once you've chosen it. So also, if you're unsure which rider is which, then take a look at his or her abilities and then you'll see which one it is. So this is the defensive rider, and I have lots of glory on the left bottom. You see you need to level her up. You need red rider shards and also glory. About getting glory on your riders, I'll tell you in a little bit. So if you look at her abilities, what I like about the defensive Atlas rider is the decreased research time and also decreased upgrade building time. I'm not so sure about the next ability I want to set her up with, but I think this is enough for now. The decreased upgrade building time really is a nice buff. So if you only have 1 perch, then I would suggest putting her there when fortification event is going on. For now I haven't. I put her down here because fort is over and I need my perch for other riders, but more about that in a bit. So let's look at the other Atlas riders. This one is the sorcerer one. I renamed all of them and I can't really remember the original names, but as I said, if you want to know which one is which before hiring them, go to the right side. Here you can see increase sorcerer dragon's HP or attack. So this one is the sorcerer rider. So we're at the left side, we're at the bottom now, train. If you move up, I can put gear on her, but if you equip gear, you need rubies to unequip it, and since I'm not sure on which dragon I want to put her, in the end I didn't equip any gear to her yet. So bonding, you can bond your riders to any dragon you want. You can always bond them to another. So if I wanted her on this dragon, I just tap on start bonding, and then in 1 hour she'll be bonded to Calvin. But this only works if the rider gear, if I had put rider gear on her, then for Kotal it would have been wind, because if you look at this picture at the upside, there's wind on Kotal. So if I wanted rider gear on this rider, it would have to be wind, so it matches the dragon. So if I wanted to bond her to this sorcerer Calvin, I would have to unequip wind gear and instead equip ice rider gear. So always be careful with rider gear because you need rubies to unequip it. So on the most up, there is riders again. So now we're at rider menu, where you can see all my riders. So the next one is the hunter. Here, if you go to the end, you see hunter, so it's the Atlas hunter rider. Also there's a warrior one, and the same rules apply. But for the abilities, always make sure that you only train what you need so you can move up on the chain, because what you want are the boosts at the end. Those are what makes these Atlas Riders so great. They give over 10% various health and attack, and for the other Atlas Riders too, for the Hunter and Sorcerer one, they give great boosts. At some points they're better than some event riders. They're really, really great. The only downside is you need a lot of glory to level them up, and I think I read somewhere you need 379 Red Rider shards to level up an Atlas Rider to the maximum level, which is level 50. So it's gonna take a lot of shards and a lot of work to level them up, but I think once you do, those riders are very, very great. So I got some gear on her since she is on Cavalieris, and yeah, riders and gear, they really, really help in your attack power in increasing it. If you look at Codal, awesome. If you move to the top and on the info button, you can see what buffs the rider gives my dragon right now. Or some don't apply for the defensive rider, since she isn't on a dragon or a perch. For a defensive rider, the buffs only work for the perch. Those buffs are not applied since she isn't on a perch. So for the warrior one, you can see her buffs, and they are much more than only the rider buffs, because she has gear on too. As for Oksana, she is at maximum level 50, and I have great gear on her since she's an Exi. So those buffs, they really help incredibly well for your dragons. As you can see, with a max rider and great gear, Exi is my strongest dragon right now. Very, very great. So let's take a look at the last Atlas Rider. That's Swan. If you want her, I think she's really, really great. If you can get her, get her. You need to get, if you get Glory and Atlas, you also get chests. If you get Glory, you get the Summer Flare badge chest, and if you open them, you get badges for the event prizes. So if you go to Rider and Primarchs, there's one. I already got her, but if you get her to the end, you get 500 blue rider shards, and these you need to be able to hire Swan. Once you have hired her, you need red rider shards to level her up, and also glory. But if you do, in the end you can set her up to boost a hunter, sorcerer, or a warrior. I would be very, very careful in which route you want to select, because you can't change it. Once chosen, you can't change it anymore. So be very careful. I think I'll be setting her up to a hunter, because at higher levels hunters are better or more often used. So I'll be setting her up for a hunter dragon. But it's up to you if you get her, or if you want to set her up a certain way. But I think that's the best decision. So now how do I get XP to level up my rider? That's, as I said, you need glory. So how do I get glory? You can put her on a good dragon, like I did here with my warrior Atlas Rider. I put her on Cavalieris, and he's very strong. So if I want to attack an Atlas, I get a player around my level, have more troops than him, and beat his base to 100%, and I get lots of glory on my warrior Atlas Rider. So that's one way to get glory on your rider. Or what I'm doing with Swan right now, I put her on a dragon, which I put on this perch. So if I get attacked in Atlas, then other players have to beat my base and my perches. So, this way, Swan gets a lot of glory. Right now I have so much glory on her, I don't have enough shards to level her up a lot of levels, but this way I think is the easiest way and the fastest way if you want to level up your riders. So, also for gear, you can also put rider gear on a perch dragon, and then it boosts building attack or building HP. Actually, that's what I've done on Tannock, and well, it's incredible how much the boost gets up. It's really amazing. It really helps my base defense. So if there's another great defensive rider coming like Tannock, I surely would go for him if he's better than Tannock. If not, then I think it's a good option for players who haven't got Tannock yet. But if it's like with Portrait that you have to finish both event in the last events you only had to finish the first page, and now with Portia you have to finish both to get her to max level. I wouldn't really recommend it. I think it's too expensive. So I think that was it for Dragon Riders. And if you have more questions or want more videos, just let me know in the game or in line. So, have fun and see you all in the game. So, what I forgot to say about rider gear, you can forge your own. If you go to the forge and tap gear, you can forge your own rider gear. There's defense gear. This gear will work if you put the rider on a perch. The battle gear works if you put him on a dragon in your rooster, a dragon you want to attack with. Also, if you go to view all items and tap info on the gear, you can see if you craft gear you get common, rare, epic or legendary. This is up to chance. You don't know what you'll get, but if there's an Atlas crafting event going on, I craft like crazy and I hope for legendary. The only things, when I first try to get gear for any element or any dragon, I put on whatever I get. If I want to equip gear on him or on that dragon, and once I get better gear, I change it. Also, the only gear I level up is legendary. Everything else is just wasted shards. Also, most event gear, like for Portia, I think it is epic rider gear you get. So the gear you can craft on your own, that's actually better because you can get legendary. Also, if you go into Atlas and look at the Atlas event prices, oh my, it's so slow loading since the update, driving me crazy. So you can see here on the right side there are here buffs for your Primarchs. I wouldn't recommend those because they only last as long as the Summer Flare Atlas season is going on or lasting, and so I wouldn't recommend it. Get Swan if you can, and if you have more badges left over, get yourself some gear, because the Atlas event gear, that is actually so amazing. If you look at the stats, now where is it? It's on the second page. Tap on info. Okay, if you tap by crafting gear on the forge on info, you can see how many or how high the boost is on the item. And the Atlas gear is elite gear. You get 5% more than from legendary gear you can craft. So this gear is the best you can get. If you can get this gear, get it. But you need to know which dragon you will need it for, or which one you will use for a long time. For me that's Axie, I maxed her, so for me I'm getting the offensive ice gear for Axie because that helps me most at the moment. But also for defensive gear, this is the gear you can put on a perch, on a rider on a perch, and this would boost your defenses very well. But for now, I think for myself I choose offensive over defensive because that's more important to me. But I'll leave it up to you what you do with this info, but that's what you can do. Also, do as well as you can in Atlas events, because you get lots of shards, diamonds, and timers also. Those really help. So, that was it about rider gear, and see you in the game. Hello everybody. So I thought about another thing. If you want to put a rider on the perch, first you gotta change the dragon. Now if you look at the bottom line, you can see a sign on most other dragons, and on the left bottom there's unassigned. If I tap on this, I can remove this dragon and put on another one. Now the trick is, if I use unassigned, I can put on the same dragon again, because if I just assign another one, then I'll have to wait 1 day to be able to change the dragon again. So now, since I have lots of XP on Swan, I'm gonna change the rider for the perch, because I want to level another rider up. So now I'm gonna bond this rider. Okay. First I have to change my rooster. I have for the perch, you can put on a hunter, a sorcerer or a warrior dragon. Each one gives a different buff, but I think warrior works best. So now I have the warrior dragon in my rooster again. I go back to the rider menu, and the rider I want to level up. I tap on bond, select the warrior I want, start bonding. Yes. So now it will take 1 hour until the bonding is finished, but I can already put the dragon back on the perch. Now I tap assign, and I can use the dragon I unassigned again. So yes, now I can only change it after 1 day, but for me that's okay. If this doesn't work with assigning, unassigning, write a ticket to PG, because it should work like this. So that's how you do it. Now I think I have an open spot. Yeah, so you can also, if you have an open spot, go to the dragon's den. Now I'm gonna look for the dragon I want. I want Ember again. Where is he? Here. So here you can quickly change your dragon rooster with inactive and active. So now he's in here again. Yes, full rooster. So let's talk a bit about the dragons on the perch. If I put a hunter dragon on the perch, then the area of the perch, for the first perch, it's this long island and this little one. That's what's protected by this perch. So if I move hunter dragon here, then it boosts the tower attack. Only the attack power in this area. If I have a sorcerer here, then I can use more super shots. More super shots will be available for all buildings. And for the warrior dragon, he boosts the building health, and I think this boost works best for me. I've tried all 3 and I like warriors best. So for the second perch, this one boosts this area, and the third one, yeah, I don't have it, and I'm not gonna get it. I don't think it's worth it. Also, it gets more expensive to build the second perch. I think it was 3k black pearls. That's a whole lot. I had to save up a long time. but it's worth it for me because in my kill islands I have the boost of Tanark, the defensive rider, boosts very nicely, and on the other perch I use this to level up other riders I want, or also during fortification I can have Tanark and the Atlas defensive rider both out at once, also very nice. But having one perch, that also works. So that's how you put a dragon and a rider on a perch. I hope this helped and cleared up some more questions. So, see you all.